Hello, I'm Matty. I'm a tutor at Clothcat and I ran a 5 week session at Ralph Thorsby School with the goal to re engage students with music. So, how I did it was each day was split between two groups. The first sessions were with 5 and 6 people. Most have never played an instrument before. So, I gathered everyone in a circle, let them choose something to play, and we went round individually to teach them a part that would together build a simple piece of music. People felt really nervous and embarrassed by the idea at first. Some refused to believe they could do it and gave up after one go. Though I gave a lot of encouragement to try, I always said it's fine not to join in. But two reasons I think instruments are absolutely brilliant for this kind of work is that A, they're amazing things to hide behind, and B, usually if one's in front of you, it doesn't take long to get curious and want to play it in some way or another. So when I go round to the students and teach them their parts, and everyone's kind of getting it together and they're building the song, the people who gave up at first, they can hear it coming together and they're starting to play their instruments. And by the time I've come back around to them, they've usually started to play it again and want to accept the help in some way or another. I think that is brilliant. So by the end of the session, both groups were playing instruments together and everyone had got a new skill by the end of it. At the end of this session, Group A expressed that they had an interest in Beyonce, and learning a Beyonce song. So I found Halo, saw it was made from 4 chords, and the next week we began to learn that. There was one student in the group who I was told loved singing, but from the moment I asked her about it in the first session, she said she would not sing in front of anyone at all. And I said that's absolutely fine. So she decided to play some percussion along to Halo this week, and we all learnt the song. And I don't know if it was my bad singing that she wanted to end, or her confidence built, but halfway through the session I could hear her singing along really quietly to herself. So I asked again if she wanted to sing, and she agreed, but only if everyone promised not to look and she could face the other way. So we did that, we set the room in a circle and she was faced the other way. And it worked. And her voice was incredible. And then slowly, with a bit of encouragement, she turned around and joined the circle and she was singing expressively with the group. And we continued the song next week and developed it so everyone had a part that changed in the verses and the chorus and with singing along to it. And I think that was a massive achievement for them to go from nothing to having a song they wanted to learn in 3 weeks and playing it with variation like that. In the second group, Group B, they decided to build on the music they'd made in the first session and turn it into a song. We had a new member in the group in the second week who wanted to play drums, and he really struggled with timing, but he enjoyed playing the drums. I think he enjoyed it more than the lesson than he would have been in. So he kept at it, and he looked like he was really getting into it. And another student who was there in the first week came in and told me she had written lyrics to go along to the recording she took on her phone. They were quite sad and expressive lyrics, and I thought it was really brave to bring them in. So we played the song together, and she just sang it quietly to herself, but I could see that she put a lot of effort into that, and that meant a lot to her. So we continued this song in week 3, and the student who was playing drums finally got his timing right, and he was really excited about it. And at the end, he told me that he'll be thinking about playing drums all week now, and I thought that was brilliant. In the fourth week, Group A was down to 3 members, things to do with exams at that time. So we decided to play new songs that they had chosen that week. One was One in a Million by Aaliyah and Diamonds by Rihanna. The mood in the room was really relaxed and everyone was really focused. So I helped everyone develop their musical parts and add variety again between the verses and chorus. And by the end, there were 2 new songs that they could play that they had chosen with variation in verses and chorus. And I thought that was another brilliant achievement after 4 weeks. In this week, Group B split into 2. Most of them wanted to carry on with the song they were building, but 2 of them came to me and asked if they could play bassline music. And by the way they asked, I'm sure they were joking and expecting me to immediately say no, and it was a ridiculous idea, but I thought it was absolutely brilliant. So for the next hour, they were sat in a corner with an amp, a bass, and a drum pad, playing some of the most weird music I've ever heard. They were swapping instruments and they were laughing, and I joined in at different points in the session, and I can confirm it was really fun. And they absolutely loved it, and they were really getting into it. It was really exciting to see. And then as we were packing down for the day, one of them in that bassline group, they asked me about my drum pad, saying they haven't seen one before, and asking if you could really develop skills on it. So I played some for him, and it's really fun. Told him it was a great thing to learn. People have genuinely made careers out of playing drums out of little pads, and told him to search some people on YouTube. and he came back next week and said he'd looked at them and he thought it was really good. And in the last week, Group A played songs they'd learned previously, and they were teaching the parts to the people that weren't there. And then at the end of it, they were all playing those songs again. And Group B continued with the song they were building. By the end of the whole program, the 5-week course, everyone had developed a new skill, became more confident, and had a sense of achievement. And even those who decided music wasn't for them seemed happy to try it, and that decision was made for themselves and not told that they couldn't do it. And I think that was really important. And that's part of the reason I believe this approach works so well. It's because it removes the classroom expectations that support a teacher to most effectively teach 30 students at the same time. Things like keeping up with the curriculum and the pace of learning, behaving in a certain way so everyone can focus in how they need to, completing their homework and passing assessments. But when students can't meet these expectations and have disruptions in their life that contribute to failing to meet these expectations, the student can feel like a disruption to that system itself. And you might have even been heard or even called yourself at school a disruption. It's something we hear quite a lot. But with nurture groups, you can have smaller classes, no curriculum, less behavioural management, and you can allow the students to set their own expectation for achievement. So this can be anything from learning to play a few notes by following numbers on a piano to making bassline music in the corner because you thought you wouldn't be able to do that in school and then realising it's actually really fun. A space where you can regularly work on something that you feel is great and you have the validation from a tutor who's also saying this is great can improve your self-esteem, break down that idea of being unable to achieve and replacing it with a motivation to continue learning.